We have discussed everything we need to discuss. I thought I made myself very clear.
You got dipping sticks.
Howdy there, friends, family, adversaries, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary folks. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Riley Constantine, and today we are talking about Ozark, the hit crime show on Netflix. But before we begin reviewing the first season, I kind of just want to make a disclaimer that this review will be talking about Breaking Bad a lot. After all, Breaking Bad is to modern crime shows in the same way that The Godfather was to mob movies back in the day. So yeah, seeing as this video's topic is Ozark, a modern crime TV show, it only makes sense to talk about the biggest and most successful modern crime TV show. So with that, on to the video. Ozark has carved out its own territory in the crime drama genre. In a post-Breaking Bad media landscape, most TV shows focusing on regular white suburban family men committing crime often fail to differentiate themselves from Walter White's pizza-tossing, tighty-whitey donning escapades. Yet, if I'm judging by the first season, Ozark makes a damn good effort to stand out, and much of this is due to the show's really good premise. This Netflix series stars Jason Bateman as Martin Bird, a Chicago financial advisor, numbers wonderkin, and family man who secretly watches porn while his wife is in the same room. Quality husband there. Marty has also been laundering money for the Navarro drug cartel for a decade, meaning that he essentially begins Ozark as an anti-hero, or even a downright antagonist who has a messed up view of morality. Right off the bat, this is a great way for Ozark to differentiate itself from being a Breaking Bad clone. Unlike Walter White, Marty is not a time bomb waiting to happen or a soul tempted by villainy. He is already corrupted and he's content in that said corruption. This is just a really good angle to start a series with. And let's be clear, Marty was content taking a lot of blood money and would have continued to do so if his world was not turned upside down Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style after Marty's business partner Bruce had been caught double and triple dipping into the cartel's money without their knowledge, which causes Del, one of the cartel's higher-ups, to murder Bruce, some of Marty's associates, and plans to kill Marty, his wife, and 2 kids. But right before Del pulls the trigger, Marty makes a Hail Mary of a pitch to Del, trying to sell him on a lucrative idea to move to the Ozarks, which is a vacation destination lake in Missouri, one that's far better than St. Louis, that attracts lots of wealthy tourists over the summer holidays, while also being far removed from the unwanted eyes of federal law enforcement. Del is actually taken by this pitch and greenlights it, but with a deadliest catch. Del likes Marty's idea and his entrepreneurial spirit, especially while he's looking down the barrel of a gun. But Marty is a white-collar crime kind of guy, rather than someone who is willing to get his hands dirty. In Del's eyes, Marty has not proven that he could handle an undertaking like this, and as a result, Del tasks Marty to set up shop in the Ozarks immediately and launder $8 million by the end of the summer. If Marty does that, then Del won't have to butcher Marty, his wife Wendy, daughter Charlotte, and son Jonah at their new Ozark lake house as if he were a drug-dealing Jason Voorhees. A Jason Voorhees that can really pull off a suit jacket, I might add. As you can tell, Ozark is intense with a capital I, and is great due to all the tension that the show builds and ferments. The first season reeled me in with its immediate high stakes. Del's threat to murder Marty and his family acts as a ticking clock type of plot device that exists throughout the season, instilling a sense of dread in the viewer as we become all too aware that one missed deadline could mean death for Marty and his family. Most workplaces will say that they aren't putting a gun to your head if you fail a task. Like if you forget to submit those TPS reports on 9 a.m. on Friday, your boss usually will not take you behind the shed and blow your brains out. Even in America. But with Del, that threat is all too real. Unfortunately for Marty, there are plenty of obstacles trying to prevent him and his family surviving the summer, which adds to the great sense of suspense. The unhinged FBI agent Petty is onto Marty's shenanigans. The Ozarks have a ruthless criminal element of their own who are unwilling to cede territory to Marty, and there is a small-time criminal family named the Langmores who often throw a wrench in Marty's carefully laid plans, especially Ruth Langmore, who is low-key one of the show's best characters. All these extra characters heightened my pulse and just always made me nervous and on edge while watching the show, which is a good thing for a suspenseful crime drama, because any one of them could have easily derailed Marty's plans and put him and his family in danger. I was probably dangerously close to cardiac arrest. However, do not feel too sympathetic to Marty's wife and kids. Beyond Marty starting the series as a bad guy, one of Ozark's greatest and most interesting uniquities that separates it from being a Breaking Bad clone is that the family is either complicit or knows about Marty's criminal activities by the end of episode 2. And by all of them, I do mean
All of them.
where many crime shows feature the protagonist trying to keep the criminal life out of their personal life, Ozark entangles the home in criminal elements as if it were peanut butter and jelly, or politics and video games. In fact, the Birds are basically the criminal equivalent of the Fantastic Four, a true crime family with all American values, like making lots of money and killing those who get in your way. The character dynamic with the family members is really great and allows the show to stand out on its own. All the family members contribute to what they believe is good for themselves and the family, but they all have their own goals and motivations for what they do. The daughter, Charlotte, is the least corrupt as she acts out in defiance under stress and does the type of foolish, regretful stuff that a teenager generally does. The son, Jonah, becomes a gun nut now that he's free of Chicago's various regulations of dangerous firearms and Mountain Dew. Like, seriously, we do not joke about Chicago's burdensome regulations, the ones that eventually led to the bloody Dorito Rebellion of 1999. Where were you during the Dorito Rebellion? Also, his parents fear that he might be a psychopath, which, been there. Though it turned out that I wasn't really crazy, I was just trans. Hopefully they view me as being trans as a better outcome than being a complete psychopath. I'm kidding, I know they do. Finally, we have Marty's wife, Wendy, who is one of my favorite characters in the whole show because Wendy is literally Marty's partner in crime. While their marriage has definitely seen better days, Wendy is not afraid to do some of the dirty work that Marty views as beneath him. She is basically Lady Macbeth, and this is great because it introduces a very interesting dynamic where Wendy is willing to do whatever it takes to make sure her family survives. It is intense, it is captivating, and I love it. Marty may wash the blood off the money, but Wendy washes the blood off Marty's hands, which is very poetic and reminded me of a good Lady Macbeth quote where she said, "My lord and husband, I must wash thy hands so you can launder those dollar bills." Also, I really hope that's a legit quote. Better not fail me now, Google. However, before you get the impression that Ozark is a grimdark show, there is a lot of dark comedy here. In one way that it is kind of like Breaking Bad, Ozark can be morbidly hilarious at times in ways that feel cathartic in the face of an otherwise tension-filled show. This is especially evident in lead actor Jason Bateman, who is usually known for both light and dark comedic roles, but has shown a propensity to combine humor and dramatic aspects into his performances in the past. See The Gift. And in Ozark, he does it again to great effect.
What'd you do today? For our family.
Bought a strip club.
To sum up, Ozark Season 1 is a great trip of a television series. God, I did not even detail some of the other great aspects, like the terrific cinematography, a great soundtrack, and well-defined supporting characters like the terminally ill Buddy, the local bar owner Rachel, and the mother-son realtors. But regardless, you get the point. Ozark is a 10-episode Netflix series that is worth your time. While I do have a few nitpicks, like how the editing of a flashback episode is a little rough in some places, the show itself is an unpredictable thrill ride that often takes twists and turns you do not expect that has some comedic moments sprinkled in. Most importantly, from the leads to the supporting cast, the characters have terrific depth, and they all have their own clear motivations that often war with all the other characters, which given the high stakes makes for an all-around suspenseful experience. Ozark Season 1 is well worth diving into if you're really craving a post-Breaking Bad crime drama and you just need a good fix for that. So yeah, Ozark Season 1, really damn good. Looking forward to reviewing Season 2. Thanks for watching. With that, I'd like to thank my patrons, especially my high tier ones in Slasher of Veils, Mom, Miles Nelson, and David Devlin. Thank you so much for supporting what I do. Love y'all.